Welcome to Talking Targaryen. Today we're talking about House of the Dragon, the season 2 finale, titled The Queen Who Ever Was. This is our instant take. We just watched the episode, so these will be our raw, immediate reactions to it, but we'll do a full recap and analysis later in the week, per usual. I'm Gil, here with my brother Alun.
Hello.
Say hello. Adam and Daniel both wanted to be on tonight. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to, but I'm going to try as hard as I can to get them for the instant take. I tried getting Adam on, and he gave me a very Alan-like speech about how, at my whole life, you've done nothing for me, and now all of a sudden you want my help. I will do it as an honorable man. Well, let's jump right in. Alun, what did you think of the episode? I'll tell you what I thought first. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Overall, it's fine. It's good. I think I'm not a huge fan of the last episode of a season being pretty much just set up for the next season that will be like 1 or 2 or 3 years from now. So I wanted a war this episode. I think that the last episode of a season should be the conclusion of most of the main events of the current season.
Right.
And then maybe a little build up. So that's where
it's especially tough these days, like you alluded to. It used to be a show you liked came around the same time every year, and now it could be 2 years, 3 years. In the case of anime, you might watch a season, and you're a new man by the time the next season comes out. It could be 6 years later. But I enjoyed the episode pretty thoroughly. I mean, to me, this might be my favorite of the season, but I also just watched it, so I'm riding high off it. But I liked it for a very simple reason. I want a show to move me emotionally. I want to feel something. It's been a while since I felt a lot with this show. And even this season, when there have been pretty powerful moments, think back to season 1 when Viserys, who everyone thinks is decrepit, they've all written him off and given up on him. And then that one day, he turns down Milk of the Poppy. So he has a clear mind. And then he slowly makes his way up the throne. Crown falls off his head. Daemon walks over, picks it up, and hands it to him. Such a powerful moment. And I felt like there were a couple of moments that came close in this episode. Specifically, Daemon, his slow walk toward Rhaenyra, though the outcome of that moment was a little clearer than previous instances with Daemon. You and I talked a little bit before we started the stream. This scene took place after Daemon had his whole blood on the tree, where he got to see a little trailer for Game of Thrones. So we kind of already knew that when he walked up to Rhaenyra, he was going to bend the knee. Still a powerful scene nonetheless. We'll talk about it more in a minute. Rhaenyra and Alicent talking to each other. I think last episode you weren't on with us, but Adam, Daniel, and I were wondering, where is Alicent going to go once she gets out of the water, goes back to King's Landing, and figures out her next move? We were like, I hope she doesn't go to Dragonstone. But we said we needed one more sneaky castle caper. This is something you and I talked about. This is why we should.
Sounds like an NES game or something.
Sneaky Castle Caper. Sneaky Castle Caper 3, which is actually just a reskinned Buster Bust Loose. Not many people know that. To your point, though, I really like the episode, but I can't help but think, this is episode 8. How cool would it have been if there was an episode 9 where there was a battle, and then an episode 10 where it's like, what happens next? Because it does feel like, all right, we've reached the end of the season. People have been trying to avoid war. Really feels like you can't avoid it. The stage is set. The battle's about to begin, which is kind of how I felt. We left things at the end of season 1. So, but I'll sit with the episode. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, finish what you were saying.
No, I was just going to say, I'll let the episode simmer in my mind for a couple of days and wrestle with the fact that it did end on such a cliffhanger and see if it still bothers me. I will say the moment I finished the episode, I didn't feel disappointed. I felt like, oh yeah, here it comes. And then it was a few minutes later when I realized, no, here it does not come. It might be a year or 2 years before the next episode. And then disappointment hit me. So we'll see.
Yeah, I thought I had another like 10 minutes left. So when it like faded out, I was like, wait, is it about to fade back in? We're going to see some cool battle stuff, at least for a little bit. But no.
Yeah, for some reason, it doesn't really happen on this show. I almost expected like a Marvel-style post-credit scene. There was something about the way it faded to black where I'm like, it's about to fade back in. We're about to see something crazy.
Didn't it seem like it lasted a little longer than usual before?
It did.
It did. Did it actually last longer though, or was it Did it just
Yeah.
feel like it?
Those are not the questions for the instant take. Those are the questions that come as part of the full recap and analysis, which
Right.
I'm so excited to announce that for the remainder of the season, instant takes are back. So
Yeah.
the other thing I loved about this episode, it wasn't just those tense, emotionally powerful scenes, but I also, one of the things that's so fun about Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon is the chess match in the war. And so often on this show, I think one of the themes of this show, what's that?
I was just gonna say, if this is chess, it's crazy the distance the queen is able to traverse on the board.
Accurate though, the
Yeah,
queen is the most powerful piece on the board.
that's true.
Yeah, and if you grab one of the pawns and then you get it all the way to the other side of the board, like always with chess, you end up in a mud
Yeah,
wrestling match. And then anyway,
yeah.
so yeah, so I love the chess piece. I love the chess maneuvering. And so often on this show, in alignment with one of the show's themes, is that um, people
Yeah.
make very emotional decisions, and because the position they're in, it has huge ramifications for the realm. Blood is spilled because somebody throws a tantrum, or because somebody misunderstands their late husband's dying words. So we don't often get really considered chess moves. Instead, we get these. Damon's going to go off on his own and have Aegon's son killed. You get these rash decisions. But this episode, there was a lot of decisions to consider. They weren't just important from a strategic standpoint, but they also had a lot of moral weight to them. You have Aemond going and trying to force Helena to join the war because he's desperate at this point. You have Rhaenyra trying to make a strong move, spill a lot of blood once to end the war now as a big show of force. Alicent having to decide whether or not she's going to sacrifice her own son. All those kinds of things. I will say with Rhaenyra, when she was telling the dragon seeds last episode, I don't know if you know, and that's a technical term for bastards that have Targaryen blood in them,
Mm.
dragon seeds. When she was telling them, hey, with you guys riding, if we can get you guys on dragons, I'm going to be so powerful, we won't even have to fight this war anymore. In my mind, I was like, she can't actually believe that. I think she's just saying that to really underscore the importance of this, make them feel really this is worthwhile. But it seems like she really thought if I can get these dragons,
Yeah.
Aemon's just gonna give up. It was nice that Corlys finally got to act in his position as
I,
hand.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
Aemon took out two dragons easily. I mean, somewhat easily. Like, what's like three dragons ridden by like newbies? Like he could probably take out like four dragons.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like last time we were talking live, I was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra thinks this is going to end the war. I don't think it's a guarantee that she wins. And somebody in the chat was like, she's got X number of dragons. They don't stand a chance on the other side of this. But once you see them kill one dragon, all it takes is to see it once for my imagination to picture them killing more than one. It just
Mhm.
doesn't seem like a guarantee. And it was nice that Corliss, like I said, finally got to give her some advice as hand.
Yeah. I was thinking that too.
But it was advice that I kind of wish she didn't need. But I guess in my rewatch, what I'm going to pay attention to is how much of that was her being ignorant and naive, and how much was wishful thinking. Maybe it was just her lying to herself. She really does not want to go fight this war. She doesn't want to spill all this blood. So, I mean, lying to yourself is pretty powerful. She might have convinced herself this would be enough. And it might have been, I think, if Aegon was still in charge. But Aemond is so vicious and bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Hey, we finally got the coup de grace of the Daemon dreams. This is where it was all going.
Yeah.
And I'm so disappointed that Adam isn't on with us right now because I know how sensitive he is to reminders of the White Walkers and all that happened in Game of Thrones. Hey, for new listeners, you might not know this, but our younger brother Adam was very disappointed in how Game of Thrones wrapped up. I know that's a hot take and a controversial opinion. So sometimes he doesn't like when this show alludes to the Song of Ice and Fire. But this time we got more than an illusion. I mean, we saw Daenerys, we saw a White Walker, we saw a trailer for Game of Thrones. I don't know, what did you feel during that?
I mean, It depends where they go with it.
Yeah, that's always your
I mean,
answer.
well, it was, but it seems like the only reason for it wasn't really. I mean, it was literally just to get Damon to back down and be like, "All
Yeah,
right, I'll support Rhaenyra." So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's not. I can't tell how worried he really is about the future, like many years from now. You
yeah,
know, like I just can't see him really caring that much. Like,
yeah.
how much before Game of Thrones does this take place?
Approximately 200 years.
He doesn't care. Come
Well,
on.
I think we are meant to read it as he does care.
I know.
I know.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm just not buying it
it's
because
just
you always talk about how much you relate to Damon. So you were like, if it were me,
exactly.
I wouldn't care.
Well, it's just like he
I've tried.
doesn't.
I've shown Alon visions of the world if he continues acting the way he does. I
Well,
made him
it's
touch a bloody tree.
it's just like he always acts for himself. He always seems to only care about himself. I know this season, like he keeps having these dreams that are trying to change him,
Right.
but it's like he already only cared about himself. Now that he's seeing all of humanity is at stake, now he cares. It's like if
Right.
you don't even care about the people close to you, why are you going to care about all of humanity?
Right. This theoretical grand
Yeah,
narrative of humanity.
like
Yeah.
you'd think he would have cared more about Rhaenyra and his family than a bunch of people, like a civilization 200 years from now he's never going to meet.
Yeah. Because it starts with friends and family, just like with Deadpool 3. Not to
Right.
spoil anything, but I guess I can't really say anything without spoiling
Yeah.
anything.
I'll be honest, I did enjoy, like, it was cool though. Like the tree thing was cool. It was cool watching him march through or walk through his army and
Yeah.
bend the knee. But I wasn't in suspense at all during that scene because they made it so obvious that he has
He's changed.
you know?
Yeah. I'll say so. I mean, I guess the way we're supposed to read it, right, is that these dreams throughout the season have been forcing Damon to confront his inner demons. They have essentially dissolved his worldview. The things you cared about, you were kind of wrong to care about. You coveted the throne for the wrong reasons. I think Alice curated these dreams to make him feel lost, and then she gave him something to make him feel found. He's listless. He doesn't know what to do. Here's your answer. You are part of a grander narrative.
Yeah.
I think that's how we're supposed to read it. How well it works for you will depend on how well all these dream sequences and his whole
Yeah.
journey this season has worked for you.
And what your personality is and what you like to see, if you like to see things work out or not. Now, for me, I think it would have been more interesting for him to fight against all these witches and dreams trying to change his mind and be like, you know what? No, you know what? Now I want to be king more than ever. And imagine now you have this three-way fight for the crown. Like that could be that is Game of Thrones to me right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't read Fire and Blood. I don't know what happens there, but I think that could have been insane if
It definitely would have been. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean that's it.
Yeah, it would have been unexpected, and it would have added, another element for next season to just be completely insane.
Yeah,
I think they. I
mean,
tried to-
also the whole season would have been pointless of him having all these dreams if that's where it ended up going. But
yeah. It was interesting, by the way. That dream was narrated by Helena, and she shows up at the end of it. For a second, I've been waiting for this. There's more to
Yeah.
Alice than you think. I was like, wait, is she Helena in disguise? Is what I thought for a second. I don't think that's the case. My current interpretation, again, just in the moment, right after seeing the episode, is that she and Alice are just two people who are receiving visions and are very connected to divine intervention and these visions from the gods. So Alice can kind of just invite her in, or Helena can just step into that dreamscape and help push Damon in the right direction, just like Alice is trying to do.
yeah, I mean, but Helena doesn't even know what the hell she's saying half the time.
She's just babbling incoherently.
yeah.
I mean, it does seem like what is Alice's motivation? We've wondered that. At the moment, at least on the face of it, it seems like she has a view into the broader narrative. She's seen Game of Thrones, so she knows what needs to happen between now and then. So she's trying to get Damon on the right path.
Does anyone that touches that tree see the future?
I don't know. I mean, do you think if nobody's tried before? It seems like I don't think so. It seems like that tree was activated. Like if
Yeah.
it's bleeding, that means it's in future telling mode.
Yeah. That's funny. And I guess like just seeing the visions isn't enough. There must be something in that blood or whatever, that vision where it's like I can tell this is real. Like Alice
Yeah.
isn't messing with me.
I mean, he is also, I don't know, it feels like he's been in a haze all season. He's also been drinking like that potion from Alice. At least that
Yeah.
one time he took a sip and then blink, he's somewhere else and has all this lost time. Who knows? Maybe next season, episode 1, once he gets some distance between him and Alice, he starts to wake up a little bit and he's like, what the hell am I doing? The grand narrative. Why did I believe all those visions I saw? I had a couple bad dreams, then I changed everything. I did think it was funny when I think his name is Broom, the guy that Rhaenyra sent to check in on him.
Yeah.
When he walks in, he hears these whispers, and Damon's like, you get used to it, you know.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Also,
Well, go ahead.
you know what? Sorry, I just remembered. You know what I'm sick of? People being able to just stand there listening to a conversation. Like, remember that dude that welcomed Rhaenyra
Oh
to
yeah,
Harrenhal?
yeah,
I'm
Simon.
like, yeah, yeah. Just let's not like mind our surroundings. Let's not whisper.
Yeah,
Just
that was one of our first critiques of this show because episode
Oh,
1,
yeah.
season 1, they're at the council meeting and Damon is sneakily in the background listening in. We're like, how is it so easy to just sneak around? We had no idea what was coming in season 2. Well, let's talk about the meeting between Damon and Rhaenyra. Like you said, I think we knew the outcome. We knew he was going to bend the knee. I think they tried to throw some doubt on it by having Broom go up to
Yeah.
him. But just you saw how moved he was by those visions, and we've been watching him all season. He seems to be accepting these dreams as something meaningful and powerful. So it would have been really strange if he didn't
Yeah.
bend the knee to her. I still love the scene. It really worked for me because you can tell Rhaenyra doesn't know what he's going to do, and you can tell. I mean, they cut to Simon just with his mouth like. If this were an anime, he would be going, making that classic noise they make when they're very tense. I also love how Damon, it's such an important moment, but he can't let go of who he is. He relishes this. He loves being unpredictable. So you can just tell he doesn't have to wait that long to reveal his answer. But he
Yeah.
kind of just stands there with a little grin, looking around. He loves being in the spotlight and everybody just being so nervous. Like, what is Damon about to do? But yeah, when he bent the knee and everyone else bent the knee, like I felt it. To me, that was a great moment of the season.
That's cool. I think.
And then Damon gives the pump up speech after to everyone. He's like, "For every one of us they kill, we're gonna kill 100 of theirs."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to see that later this episode."
Yeah. there was no time. I feel like Simon Strong should. He was the guy that told Rhaenyra, I think Damon is up to something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not cool. Like you don't just like talk shit about the king like that to the queen. Like
the king consort.
I know, but you got what I'm going for. So
Yeah.
like I'm just saying like she should not be like, oh, thanks for telling me this. I was doubting him. No, you act like, how dare you talk about him that way? Like I just feel like in the original Game of Thrones, they would have his head for that. Even if she was like, maybe he's right. It's just for appearances. Like he should not be able to just get away with talking like that.
I mean, that's been a running theme this season. People act with impunity. I mean, the
Yeah.
mere fact that Damon's been allowed to just bumble around Harrenhal all this time, and it takes her like 6 episodes to be like, "Hey, Broom,
Yeah.
go check on that. See what's going on over there." So yeah, what she could have done is,
I mean, it's a
well,
little
thank you
different
s-
with him because of his position of power, and
Yeah.
like she has respect for him from like a strength perspective. Like, but this random Simon Strong dude, he has no place talking like this.
Though if he was right, I mean,
Still,
yeah, I guess in that case it would be. I mean, it would be very Game of Thrones to say, "Thank you, Simon. That was great. Now I hope you're not too attached to your tongue."
yeah.
'Cause
I
I'm
need to send a
removing it.
message. Anyway, that was my rant about that.
Well, the other big reunion was Alicent and Rhaenyra. I rolled my eyes a little bit at how easy it was for Alicent to appear here in Dragonstone.
Mhm.
Now, you made the point that it doesn't seem like it was very sneaky, right? She showed up. Hey, I'm the other queen lady. Can you bring me to
Yeah.
Rhaenyra? I mean no harm. I got no weapons. So it's believable.
It's not like Rhaenyra literally sneaking into the
Yeah.
castle, into the place with the candles. What's it called?
I don't know. The place with the
Whatever.
candles. The
Yeah, the
sept?
place with the candle. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's insane.
Right.
But
Right.
this, Allison just went to shore with her guard and was like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah.
Allison. I just want to talk to Rhaenyra. Guard, put down like I'll have my bodyguard
Right.
guard put down his sword. So
And
like
it was
and sneak me in because I just want to talk to her one on one. I don't want everyone to know yet. You know, I
And
think they
you
would
could
do
tell
it.
she was at a point of desperation where it was almost like this might get me killed,
Yeah,
but I don't see any other choice at this point. So I think I'm just trained that every time something like this happens, we complain about it here. So it's like even
Yeah.
if it's done perfectly, I can't help
I
but have
think
the
this
thought.
is actually the least ridiculous one.
Yeah.
Out
But
of the
okay, putting
three.
that aside, the scene quickly pulled me in.
Yeah.
Because I mean, first off, like such a contrast to the last time they met. The last time they met, Rhaenyra was the one really pushing the conversation forward,
Mhm.
and Alicent was the one resisting. That was a line back in episode 2 or 3, I think, where Rhaenyra found out that Alicent misunderstood the whole Aegon speech.
Yeah.
So now this time it's the opposite. Alicent is the one moving the conversation forward, and Rhaenyra is the one resisting. And I think it's very true to life that two people can want the same thing, but if it's not at the right time, they might want the same thing at different times. It's like two ships passing in the night. A Better Call Saul reference, which I explained earlier in the season. I thought the scene was pretty lengthy, and I thought that was great. Such a tense scene, specifically when Rhaenyra forces Alicent to confront the idea that this does not work with Aegon alive at the end of it. That's impossible. There was so much silence, and I thought it was so appropriate that it should be silent for so long as Rhaenyra contemplates that decision. And she essentially agrees to it. I don't think she ever says those words precisely, but it's obvious that
She
she
kind of
agrees
like
to it.
nodded a little bit. What?
Yeah.
I think.
And so I found that, I mean, that's to make it believable that a mother is accepting the death of her own son. I think it's a hard thing to pull off, and I think they pulled it off, and I found it very difficult
Yeah.
to watch.
I mean,
and
it
very
helps that she
powerful.
thinks all her sons are bad kids.
Sure. Except Darren. That Darren guy is
yeah,
great.
but we haven't seen him yet.
I did think it was. This is something that's come up a couple times, and I just never resonated with me. So she describes Viserys. He was very fond of me, and I of him. I never really bought that.
Yeah, well, she's either trying to convince herself of that, or she's like, may as well say it to Rhaenyra,
Yeah,
just to
fair.
sound nice.
Let's go with that. The only reason I tend to believe that she believes it is because on the official podcast,
Oh,
they they talked about how she had genuine love for or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
cheating.
so I know. I love that scene, and we'll definitely talk about it more on the full take. Speaking of Alicent though, and the high towers, did you catch Otto?
Otto. Yeah,
You see
what
him
was
for
he
a few
doing
seconds?
there? He was like,
Yeah, I guess. So we theorized
was that
that
him
he's.
seeing Allison? Like, was Allison going there, or was she going back to King's Landing?
They shot it very weird.
Yeah.
I think it's just that he's being imprisoned somewhere. But the way it was shot is you see him in that wherever he is, and then it cuts to Alicent, and then to like a wagon, which is actually Larys and Aegon. It was cut together that made it feel like these things were happening near each other. So I'm like, oh, Alicent's meeting up with Otto right now. I think it was just cut weird. I think all this is them saying, hey, Otto hasn't been answering letters. We theorized he was being held prison somewhere, and I think they're saying yes. And
Maybe
just
he's been
put a
held
pin in it.
prisoner. Oh, I thought you were telling me to put a pin in it.
No. I was saying,
I thought you like had something. You wanted to finish your thought.
pin it, Alon.
Maybe he's being held captive in King's Landing. Never left.
At first when I thought it was Alicent in the same scene, I was like, twist. Alicent locked up Otto
Nah.
and has been holding. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, my theory last episode was that Darren, who everyone speaks so highly of, has him imprisoned. Again, I don't know why.
Great kid.
This kid, yeah, I can't wait to meet this Darren fellow. There's a lot of this season where it's like, let's just point the camera at something for a second so we can say it didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think this Otto thing, Adam and Alan, And Reyna going after the dragon. I just like it's such shorthand. It's like they want us to feel
So
she
much. Sorry, you just reminded me. So much running after this dragon. Like enough. I get it.
Yeah, because it's such shorthand where it's like she's drinking out of a river, and when someone does that, you know they're thirsty, and this is intense.
She's been running for a long time.
You could tell because of all the dirt on her. And I don't know, I just don't feel her struggle at all because
Yeah.
it's just such shorthand. You only see it for little bursts of seconds at a time. And
Mm.
again, this is because probably next season she's going to show up on a dragon at one point, and now they can say it didn't come out of nowhere. We pointed the camera at her, like
Or
for
we
12
find out
seconds.
it just ate her, and that's
I mean,
it.
I might respect that because I'd be like, that's just so bold and weird, and I don't know why you did that. Aegon. I've
I
been
like
feeling
him.
bad for him. He's just, yeah, every time I mention Aegon, you just say that and this weird look on your face. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kind of king.
I mean, I've been feeling bad for him. He's done some horrible things, but just basic human empathy. When I see someone burned like that and just broken, you feel bad for him.
Oh, how about found out a little more about his ailment?
That's what I was going to say.
Ooh,
All this time, I've
Even
been thinking,
worse than we thought.
I know, because I've been kind of motivated on his behalf. I was like, rise up. And then I find out he can't rise up. That was unplanned. It just happened. Let's go to the next thing. Oh, Cole.
Yeah.
Cut to Cole sniffing Allison's favor.
You
then-
know it's Allison's because it has an A on it.
I kind of love this scene. I don't know, just seeing Cole so broken and just like everything he says is like poetry.
Yeah.
True honor is a mist that melts in the morning.
Her brother just sits down right next to him after like threatening to kill him.
Well, because Cole was so down and depressing and so good at it. You know, the
Yeah.
dragons dance and men are like dust under their feet. We
See,
march now toward our
You memorize
annihilation.
that?
What?
You
Oh, am I
memorize
gonna-
that?
Yeah, I'm gonna memorize that. That's gonna become
Yeah.
my new like morning ritual mantra.
See, I told you in the pre-show that I expect badass things from him this episode.
You got it. I mean, it was just philosophical badassery.
Yeah.
But it is true. It does seem like he infected Gwaine with his pessimism. Gwaine's
He's
like,
like,
"How dare you?"
Shit.
Yeah. How
We're
dare you?
screwed.
And then Gwaine just sits down. He's like, "Damn."
Yeah.
Drac Fire King says the episode was trash.
Oh.
What I'm seeing, I think if I just kind of skim through the chat here, my impression, and you can just say yes if this is how you feel. My impression is that people felt like solid episode, but not for a finale. I think people wanted more, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I feel that way yet. I'll save that for the full take.
I mean, that's my immediate feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun to watch Ulf eating more of these birds, these little birds.
What was he always like? He wasn't. I know he was like a little bombastic before, but this just seems like completely ignorant.
Well, it seems
Like
like
to
he's
to just like an insane degree.
complete buffoonery. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
a cartoon character.
Yeah, like that's crazy. You'd think
Yeah.
like he is so happy to be in this position, like should be a little like more respectful to maintain your position as long as possible here.
Yeah, it
Like,
does clash.
Yeah. It's not like having a dragon now makes you invincible. Like you're in a room with these people, like your dragon's not coming to save you if you piss them off. Like
It does seem like he's changed a bit from last episode. He's in the bar and he's nervous and he's like, I don't know, man, if I'm really even am Targaryen. I don't know if I should go. And now he just, I don't know. I guess the power's going to his head. The fact that he has a dragon. He's so confident. I mean, we don't know enough about him yet to say this is out of character. I will say, in general, I found Hugh, Adam, and Ulf in this episode. I thought they were utilized better here. Because although they're still not full-fledged characters that I feel connected to in any way, but I think they acted as somewhat of an audience surrogate. So when Rhaenyra is talking about going and attacking and killing a lot of people, they get to be the ones who have moral uncertainty about it. And I mean, that's kind of what I wanted more of last episode. I want to be in Rhaenyra's point of view. And when she's sending all these men to die, men and women to die by dragon fire, because she's hoping one or two of them can ride them, I'd like to see some moral qualms of like, is this the right thing to do? And so now we get some of that through them. And I thought that was useful. I mean, I'm still, yeah, go ahead.
No, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about them some more on the rewatch. But I mean, in terms of instant reactions and unpacking our immediate feelings, I think that covers most of it. Anything you feel, any burning desire inside you, anything else you want to say?
Um, well, I'll just say, uh, my thought process on one scene when Allison was trying to get Rhaenyra to like, don't kill Aegon. At first, I was like, she can take over without killing him. Like she could. But then I was like, you know what? She is thinking 2 steps ahead. Like she really needs to solidify her position as queen. I guess you do have to kill him, or else there's still going to be like supporters that are like, Aegon's still the real king. You know, she needs to
Yeah, I
show
think
some force and win these people over. You know,
yeah, I think this world has established enough that that felt believable to me. I think that's right.
yeah.
Um,
But she doesn't kill Simon Strong.
yeah, at least take his tongue.
Yeah, you really wanted him to have no tongue.
I want someone. I think they cut out someone's tongue in
I remember in
season one.
Oh, in House of the Dragon.
Yeah, remember actually Laris? Took a few prisoners and cut their tongues out so they would be his assassins. I think they were called like they all had bee symbols on them, like little bumblebees. We haven't seen them in a while.
I don't
He's got like a
even
little
remember
army
that.
out there.
I
Forgot
remember
about
that one dude with no tongue in Game of Thrones.
All right.
Yeah.
Steffi L in the chat says, I don't get the moral uncertainty. They're in a war. The dragons are not their pets. It's expected they'll need to fight, LOL. I mean, you should be on the council with Rhaenyra and Alicent. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that they are trying as hard as they can to avoid all-out war. And I actually liked Alicent's suggestion. I mean, I thought that was bold, and it showed some of that strategic decision-making I've been looking for. But obviously, things are not going to be so simple. We saw Laris and Aegon are already on the run, so none of this is going to go as planned.
Yeah, and why would the guards listen to her and just let Rhaenyra in and obey her?
Yeah. Well, last thing I'll say. We end the episode with everybody suiting up, getting ready for war. And as much as I, look down upon people who are like, I need action. It's a bad episode if there's no action. I'll admit I'm a simple man. And when I see people putting on suits of armor, when I hear the man, getting ready for battle, I get excited.
Yeah. You
And
want to
so I
see
feel
the
like-
battle. You
Yeah.
don't want to wait.
Just think how great the season 3 premiere is going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
No,
Okay.
it will be. It will be. It'll be great.
All right. I think in terms of the instant take, we can wrap it up there. So later this week, we will post a full recap and analysis where we're going to go scene by scene, recap what happened, review it, give our opinions, insights. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to see that, if you're on the main channel right now, One Take, that full analysis will get posted over on the podcast channel. So I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link in the comments. If you're on the podcast channel already, you're in the right place. If you're listening to this in audio, you're in the right place. Nothing else to do. So with that, thank you for watching, and see you on the next Dracarys. There we go. I didn't have the button ready. And I know you can all still hear me. Have a good night.